2 children predeceased him, and he was struck by lightning at 50, and then suffered a stroke, which meant he had to relearn how to draw. Reaching the age of 60 in Japan is a time to celebrate. Rather than seen as getting old, it is viewed as a time for rebirth. Hokusai's last decades were in fact when he produced his best and most loved works. As he himself said, "All I have done before the age of 70 is not worth bothering with." And it was at the age of 70 when he embarked on his most ambitious project yet, 36 views of Mount Fuji, one of which was the Great Wave. Mount Fuji was sacred in Japan, with over 800 shrines dedicated to it. Religious confraternities were known as Fuji-ko, or Fuji cults, and for Hokusai, Mount Fuji was a personal spiritual obsession. As well as a site of religious pilgrimages, it was seen as an important symbol of strength and stability in Japan, still isolated and enveloped with its own tradition and culture. In 36 views, Hokusai shows Mount Fuji as it is seen from the forest, the village, the lake, the river, and the beach. But it was the sea view, known as the Great Wave of Kanagawa, that would create international interest in Japanese art. Hokusai would become the first ukiyo-e artist to use landscape as the main focus of these mass-produced images. The 36 views were classic Hokusai, condensing images to their purest form and placing importance on line and color. They feature the ordinary working-class man within the sacred landscape, a perfect blend of the physical and the metaphysical. Landscape prints were not nearly as popular as the celebrity prints, but their sales would increase as travel within Japan increased. By the late 18th century, there was a steady flow of merchants, peddlers, pilgrims, and pleasure seekers heading to Mount Fuji. These people would prove to be an enthusiastic audience for a new genre of souvenirs, woodblock prints showing views of famous places throughout Japan. In 1829, Prussian blue, a synthetic color which had been very expensive, became available at a low price via China, making it possible to use in ukiyo-e prints. Hokusai's publisher, always on the lookout for novel selling points, promptly commissioned 36 views in order to exploit this new innovative color. The first 5 prints in the series were printed almost entirely in shades of Prussian blue, with some indigo. Even the outlines, which are usually printed in black, are also in blue. They would be marketed to the public as aizurie. Compared to previous blues, Prussian blue was more vivid, had greater tonal range, and most importantly, didn't fade. It also made the prints exotic and therefore desirable to the general public. By using different saturations of the same color, Hokusai, a master of light and shade, gives us the impressions of the hours before dawn, or after dusk, when our eyes can't make out distinct shades because of the soft light. Although Japan's borders were officially closed, the Dutch, who had never tried to push Christianity, were allowed 2 trading ships per year. This was just about the only direct connection between Japan and Europe at the time. It was how Hokusai came to see Dutch landscape prints, which would have a major influence on his work. Western artists fix the physical position of the viewer, whereas in Japanese landscape painting, there is no distinct point to guide us. The Japanese were inclined to depict a panoramic view of the scene, perhaps more like a floating view. Time, too, is fixed in Western art, whereas Japanese art was more fluid and often included several time windows. Although Japanese painting, or high art, were not confined by strict linear perspective, lowbrow images like ukiyo-e used European perspective as a sort of novelty and were promoted as ukie, or perspective pictures. Hokusai would put everything he'd learned about style, color, light and technique over 6 decades into his 36 views of Mount Fuji, and one of those views would bring his work international acclaim. Ironically, this print, which in the West was seen as a characteristically Japanese image, is in fact a hybrid of Japanese and European ideas. The Great Wave is 25 centimeters by 37 centimeters. Hokusai experiments with a low horizon, typical of Dutch landscapes, which gives it an element of dynamism through the movement of the wave, which takes up 2/3 of the image. If we look at earlier Japanese seascapes, we see more of a floating view. The dark shade of Mount Fuji and the brightness of the snow-covered cap suggest it is early morning, with the sun rising from behind the viewer, lighting the peak. The location is off Kanagawa, which is south of Edo or Tokyo. Tossed about in the waves are 3 fast boats, which were used to transport live fish to the markets in Edo. Hokusai had worked with European perspective for some time now, and with the Great Wave, he would take deep perspective to its ultimate conclusion, with Mount Fuji, the star of the series and the highest point in Japan, dwarfed by this huge wave in the foreground, whose spray is becoming the snow falling on Mount Fuji. As the Great Wave breaks, the same spray creates ominous, claw-like figures. It is the distance of Mount Fuji that adds a sense of dread, an element of uncertainty as to whether the fisherman will make it to shore. An earlier wave print shows a wave breaking at the beach near the island of Enoshima, while another print has an enormous wave about to hit a boat. These previous attempts look fairly lifeless and static, but the Great Wave captures perfectly the energy of the moment before a huge wave crashes down onto the fragile boats beneath. The embodiment of Hokusai's belief that art has a life of its own, a life force. In the cartouche is written the full title, 36 Views of Mount Fuji, offshore from Kanagawa, beneath the wave. And to the left of that is Hokusai's signature, which says, "From the brush of Hokusai, changing his name to Litsu." Hokusai changed his name at least 30 times over his career. This was common for Japanese artists. Even though Japan was still closed off, fear of invasion by sea was very real. In the waning days of the Tokugawa shoguns, there was already talk of foreign incursions into Japan. One theory is that the uncertainty and danger of Hokusai Sea reflects an uncertain Japan, which, along with the struggles of the fishermen, is a sharp contrast to Mount Fuji, representing then and now the very soul of Japan itself, solid and unmoving. The Great Wave was closely tied to the inevitable end of shogun rule, and therefore Japan's isolation. Hokusai portrays the sea over which these European things and ideas traveled with stark ambiguity. This is not an image of timeless serenity, but of instability and uncertainty. Woodblock prints need a team: publisher, artist, block cutter, and printer. Hokusai hardly ever worked alone. First, a publisher would commission an image from the artist, who would create a design on thin paper, a block-ready drawing. If we look at this modern recreation of the Great Wave woodblock, we see it is reversed and then glued to the block. It is then rubbed down with an instrument called a barrow. While it is still damp from the moisture in the glue, the carver will rub with his fingers and peel off most of the paper, leaving just the lines of the original image on the surface of the woodblock. The original design would be destroyed in the making of the block. The carver then reproduces the artist's brush lines in wood. Only the best carvers worked on Hokusai prints, as the detail he expected was extraordinary. Of course, this is a print and it has been carved, but this looks exactly like the artist's brushstrokes, replicated perfectly by the woodblock carver. It was carved from a hard wood like cherry tree, as it needed to withstand hand printing, one at a time, thousands of times. The first print would often differ significantly from the later prints, as the block wore down and fine details were lost, as we see here. Colours too would change over the print run. Here the one on the left is not only a different colour, but also has a less subtle graduation in colour. The printer then inks the block, lays a sheet of paper on top of the inked block, and then uses the borough to transfer the ink onto the paper. The artist would mark a proof indicating where the colours were to go, and a carver then made a set of colour blocks. One block would be carved for each colour that was used in the prints. This printing technique ensures that every print has a one-off quality. A closer look shows us that the physical labour leaves unique indentations on the surface of the handmade paper. Behind the simplicity of the Great Wave is a complicated and delicate process, a process that is only possible thanks to a dedicated team of skilled craftsmen. For Hokusai, Mount Fuji was a talisman of longevity. He was convinced he would live to 110 and was certain that the older he got, the better he became. He would live to the incredible age of 89, in a time when the average lifespan was 50. His energy and vitality never left him, and he never stopped experimenting. He was producing paintings until his dying day. Unfortunately, later in life, he was forced to use his life savings to pay off his grandson's gambling debts. He would die penniless. Japan's self-imposed isolation came to an end when a flotilla of fully armed ships sailed uninvited into Tokyo Harbor on behalf of the US government and demanded that the Japanese begin to trade with the US. Japanese art, which had developed over 2 centuries of isolation, was finally revealed to an astonished world. Bold designs, intense colors, simple lines, and areas of flat color would influence a whole generation of artists and precipitate modern art. One artist in particular would produce a painting that I believe was directly inspired by Hokusai's The Great Wave. In my next video, I discuss Starry Night by Vincent van Gogh.
Okay.
Wow.
Wow, huh? I know.
Yeah, fascinating. Wow.
I know, I saw that, I go, wow. You guys got to see those. Especially everything. But
Everything.
yeah.
So much information.
Especially the everything, yeah.
Yeah.
There must have been more to the U.S. ships coming to Japan other than just demanding trade. I mean, the chutzpah of the U.S., what's that all about?
I know, really, huh? Trade with us or whatever. I mean,
Yeah.
well, whatever. Let's see now. So let's start with, still got some videos on here, you guys. Let's see. Any more? I think we're doing good. Okay. I think the audio's off. Okay, good. Now, so Prussian blue, huh? You know, I when I was watching it the first time, for some reason, I must have skipped that part or something. I didn't watch the whole thing. I just roughed over most of it. Yeah.
Will you put the link in the chat? I mean, I know we'll have it in this, but I'd love to send it to my daughter.
Yeah, just to
Right.
Yes, that's great.
Hold on a second.
Great explanation.
Copy. And right. Right. So not always are the colors the same in every print, especially when they're, wow, one off like that. So it's a machine doing them. And, you know, the print I have, looks like up in the top of the sky looks a little bit pink. But in the video, it looked yellow. So I'm not sure. I'm just going to go by the picture I have and do the best I can.
And then even the gray, I think, was kind of like it went horizontal in the video rather than.
Yeah. I think we'll just use a nice neutral gray for that. But so the yellow, and even the paper has a color to it. It's not pure white. In fact, he says it's pure white though, doesn't he? Huh.
I imagine they faded and the colors have changed over time too.
Yeah.
Probably.
Because if you look at our print and you look at the very sides where it's white, see what that color is compared to white? That's not white. So I was just going to use white. And I noticed in the video it looked white. Let me see. Whoops. Yeah, the video looks really bright. Gosh. Dang it. Well, how about we just assume the white is white?
When Hokusai first did this, did he do it as a sketch or a watercolor or a...
Well, you don't get to see the original one, but yeah, just like he said, did you see the part where they did the ink drawing, and then he mounts it on the block, and then they disintegrate it? But I'm sure he did a full. I'm sure he did a full. What do you think,
Mitsuko?
Mitsuko or Henry? Probably.
I think it's ink.
Right.
Yes.
And the ink first. So that was, I guess, very unusual to do that blue line. So how about he? Yes.
That's what they said. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So how about we just decide about where your halfway point is here, and maybe where your halfway point is here and here. Just see if you can. It just helps to proportion things. And let's just draw our wave. It starts above the halfway point, somewhere up in there, and then comes up. And of course, I'm not going to do every little thing because we're just doing a value and a color, and I want to get down to business here. So let's just, all right. And we've got the, well, let's just draw these first. Let's just draw the waves first. And then I'm a little high with that one. Next thing. I should have swooped this down a little bit more, but whatever. We got this one, and it's a little above the center. And we got Mount Fuji. Mount Fujiyama. Isn't it? It's not centered. If that's the center, I would say, yeah, it's definitely to the right of the center. So, all right, then we've got this boat and the people's, and they are taking cover, aren't they? Okay, and yeah, I could have taken this higher, huh? I'll just take it down to there for now. Get this little guy back there, and some of this. Got to figure out a way to do this faster. You know, it's pretty intricate, so just do the best you can. Mostly, we want to know what are our basic values. And so I'm going to use my Prussian blue, like I always do. And Cad red light, either one. So that's what I'm going to use for my gray too. So the gray, let's just put that gray in the background. I am going to use the CAD red plus the. Oh, by the way, let me state the obvious here. We can't do a woodcut in this class. It's too long. Would take too much time. But at least we can study the way you laid these things out. Oh, I forgot to put my little guy in here. Well, we'll just put a little bit in there. That's fine. So there's my gray. I'm not going to bother smoothing it off or anything. Now, in the picture I'm looking at, just do whatever color you see up in the sky that looks best to you. I'm looking at the white on the foam here, and the color of the sky, the white in the sky is a darker color. Kind of a almost creamy color. So first of all, I think I'll throw that in. It's a bit on the, I'm just going to use CAD yellow and ultramarine blue and CAD red.
Wait, are you doing value study or?
Oh gosh, there I go again. I'm sorry. Whoops. I always get confused. Thank you. Sorry about that.
Rob?
Yeah.
In my print, I have no white. It's all sort of beigey, orange.
Yeah.
Are you just going to pretend there's white, or should we go by what print we have?
Either one is fine. I'm just going to use white.
Okay.
I'm just going to put a little bit of tone over that sky first. And then come in with the darker stuff at the top. I think it'll make the whites look whiter on the foam. And then let's come in with a light value of blue. We're going to do this in 3 sections. Or not blue, but I mean, in this case, just a tone. But let's do our light value first. Go on in there. In there. And then we got this in the foam. It's the shadows in the foam. Think of it like that. Yeah, I did woodblock printing and lithography and silk screening and what else? Studied all of that. It is really cool. But more, I don't know. I wanted to make the art, and still can, you can make the art and do the craft too. I got to study under Tony's Zapita Art Center, which was a privilege. He was quite the amazing, kind of considered a master printer, so it was a privilege. He showed me a lot, that's for sure. Okay, and then we have the light shade within the dark part of the wave, okay, which is darker. Yes, you can see it right in here. The light shade in the darker part of the wave here, the darker part of the wave is darker than this. So we need to go 1 shade darker than this. Clearly darker, but not real dark. Yeah. All right, just hit a few of those. Isn't it amazing that he painted so late in life? I think that's so great. I'm just blown away by that. I'm gonna use this in the back here.
When she passed away, he said, if I had 5 more years, I could be a master, but
Oh,
I'm not yet. He was 90.
wow. Well, I guess one of the secrets to staying young is keeping busy. Find something you love and do it. Okay, and I would use that lighter blue on the people too. I'm sorry, the lighter value, excuse me, at this point. A little darker than that. Make sure we're muted, everyone. Okay. And what else? Maybe someone in there too. And then the darker one, strong. Want this to be clearly darker. Yeah, there we go. Huh? That's pretty dark. I think that'll dry right. And that's most of your values. Now I didn't do every little flake of white. We can hint some white in there. We can use white on that. And it could be dark back here too. Wow. And that he does incorporate European perspective. You see it in there. But I love the idea of Eastern painters working from different multi viewpoints. Which, if you know anything about David Hockney, he does that with photography. I think it's in the 80s when he started doing that. Not sure, but he really picks up on the same idea. And well, Marcel Duchamp, right? He sees the nude descending the staircase from different perspectives as well. So, but again, you go to Chinese Sumi painting, and who knows how long they've been doing that. Okay, then something in the sky. Literally, it's about the same value. There's a little differentiation in the color, maybe a touch, maybe a half a value or something in here. So I would just notice that there's some cloud. But I do like that they tend to set the white off a little bit more. So, and as far as the signature and everything goes here, if you want to indicate something there, you perfectly may, but just. It's a lot of labor, and we don't have a lot of time. And I know it's quite a compositional thing there too. So I'll leave that up to you. Maybe for the fade here too, maybe we can just have something a little bit lighter on the edge there. Okay, let's move on. I'm just going to keep it really solid like that. no time for blending. Now, same deal. Figure out where your centers are, so you can compare things. You know, for instance, the wave does come just past center, so I didn't get it far enough on the other one. But this starts a little above center, so we'll make this go up to about that high. Past the center, and then come back up and down. And there's the center, so the Mount Fujiyama would be here. There's the boat. And then this comes up quite a bit past center over there. You really feel that. Well, he wanted to take you for a ride. I don't know, the more you look at it, I just think by the end of copying this, you're going to really understand how good this painting is. It is right up there. You know? Okay, so I'm going to go this way with this one this time. And then this part here comes right down, and beautiful rhythm to this. And you know, I'm glad they show the earlier waves that he did too, because he really grows as an artist. You can see, I mean, he worked it till the end. That's what I want to do. Well, I will. No question. That's all I ever wanted to do. You know, it's really not work when you're doing something like you don't consider. I mean, it's hard. Okay, so if we lay it out like that first, then it's pretty easy to throw in, I mean, at least the proportions or whatever. It's easier to throw in these amazing boats, peoples. So back here too. That's good. And you know, since it's just a sketch, let's abbreviate a lot of this. Over here and over here. I really like the way the speaker did on this one, so I'm gonna said it was gonna do Starry Night, so we'll see what else, what other things this particular one's done. And some people just give a really good. So you find out who you like and you stick to them. Okay, good enough. Oh, wait, we got something else right there. All right, yeah, that's good. Did I leave out this boat? Yeah, I did. This one's sneaky. Did not even see it. But you know, if you look at the drafting in there, it's pretty good perspective. I mean, really good. I mean, okay. All right. Let's get down to business. So, now if you wanted to get this to look just like our print, maybe you take a little wash over the whole thing first of that creamy color. I'm just going to use white because I think that's probably, it might not be as white as my paper, but whatever. What else? And well, of course, the line is Prussian blue. Okay, so maybe we'll draw that in, then we'll come back and paint it in. If you have a blue marker or something, you could use that as well. I mean, I'd love to just get in there and show you how to actually cut all this stuff out. It is tedious, though. Okay. But you know, the background, I did want to throw in some of that creamy color. It's a lighter creamy color over here, so, but I think there is something of that creamy color back there. And I'll throw that down first with cad red, cad yellow, and ultramarine blue, mostly cad yellow. So just, in other words, it's just graying the cad yellow, that's all it's doing. It's a dull, something like that. And I'm going to use hit it right into that pinky color that's at the top. But you know, I wasn't seeing in other prints, and I think, oh, you know, they use red, yellow, and blue. Oh, whatever. We'll do the best we can. And then I'm going to take the same color we used to do our value study, and I'm going to use that for my gray here. Oh, that's good. Whoops. Sorry, Mount Fuji. Is it Mount Fuji or Fujiyama? I forget to say. What do they call it both? I don't know.
It's called Fujisan.
Oh, Fujisan?
Fujisan. San means mountain.
Oh.
So Fujisan is a correct name.
Oh, okay. Now I'll really get it wrong. Sorry. I'll put it.
Mitsuku, could you spell that?
Fujisan.
S-A-N. Fuji-san.
Fujisan.
Oh. Now I'm just throwing that same gray around here in the other places. And that's the only place you're using it is in the boats and in the background. Okay. Now, what I'm seeing in mine, and he shows you the different prints, how they disintegrate, and the wood block disintegrates, but the colors, I don't know why it's turning out pink up here in mine, but whatever. I think looks like cad red.
No, I see pink there too.
Yeah. Cad red, let's see. That's a little too blue, I think.
Rob, you're always talking about using red, yellow, and blue.
Yeah, I know.
So,
There it is, right?
yep.
Maybe something like that. I'm just gonna leave it real loose like that. And then we'll just put down spots of color here now. So pure Prussian blue, I think, is the way to go. If you feel like you need to adjust it in some way, go right ahead. Fine. I'm going to go for the lighter version first. Very light in these areas. Boy, that looks really saturated up there, doesn't it? Gosh. I want to subdue it a little bit. The way you do it is by adding red. But let me try adding ultramarine blue. I don't want to get too dark. Well, it said Prussian blue. And you know, it's also aged over time.
And aren't different manufacturers slightly different in their...
Always,
Yeah.
always. This is a pretty dull color. So again, if you add a little bit of your gray we made, this color, to the Prussian blue, it'll dull it. Let me try it. It's like this. Like that. Oh, one thing I know about printers too. This is something I learned from Tony at Art Center. They really sweat it out when it comes to the colors. Oh boy. Because they're trying to match your colors, and oh, do they go to extremes to get your colors right. I mean, I did a lot of the same thing when I used to do murals, and I had to get colors right. Especially when I'm telling everybody, use these colors right here that are in my painting. And in fact, I tell them exactly how to mix the color. You add this much of this color, this much. I give them a recipe on how to mix that color, and then they'd mix it in a bucket. Because that's how big the paintings were we were doing. But not nearly as intricate as what they do in printing. Printing is, oh my gosh, the most intricate. And what they do on today, I'm sorry, when you know what a master printer can do with color, the computer is just not there. You know, most of the time what you see in color, it's fine. It does the job, and that's what mostly people want. But when you really need it right, you gotta leave it up to a person. But then that person has to be extremely well trained. Now they have printers that probably a blend of both nowadays. Okay, so I'm going for that lighter value first. You know, it might even be better just to put the lighter value down there over the whole thing. I didn't think about that. Yeah. Do that. And then we'll come over with the darker value. Saving you all kinds of trouble. In a lot of ways, painting like this, very flat like this, is so good for you in laying out your graphics in a regular, in a sort of European type painting. You know, when they start really laying things out later, you know, toward the mid to late 1800s, very flat like this, it's because of Japanese and Chinese painting, and the influence of it, very flat. But that's why they're such great composers. They have a command of the flat image. It's that notan.
Yeah, Robert, do you remember the year that the Americans supposedly sailed in and said Japan had to open up?
No, I don't. It's on that video.
Yeah, because I mean, Van Gogh was very influenced by
oh yeah,
Japanese, and I thought their first exposure to it was at that World Fair in Paris, where the Eiffel Tower was, you know, was one of the features, and then they were exposed there, and that was the end of the 1880s, I think.
Oh, that late, huh? Wow. Okay, so now I'm just right over the color we just laid. Let's put the darker color in. So I'm not dark enough with my under. That's fine. Doesn't matter about the value at this point. We're just looking for, you know, the color. Oh, I screwed up. You know, right on my boat. Sorry, Mr. Boat.
Hey, Rob.
Hey, George. What's up?
I looked up Mount Fuji, and Fujiyama is also, it's also called that because it's located on the Pacific Ocean coast in Yamanashi and Shizuoka prefectures. So it's a location thing. Because I've heard of Fujiyama years ago also. Anyway, okay, bye.
Just getting your names and dates right, huh? That's important. Okay, put that down there. All right. Now, oh, I forgot to put some on the mountain. The mountain is just as dark as the foreground, so we can just go ahead and whatever you like in there. You know, I personally think the color's a little bit gray here. I want to punch them up a little bit, so I'm going to go for more Prussian when I do the other. Oh, okay, here's, so there's. If this takes a little long today, we have to go over, I don't mind. It's so important that you learn this east-west thing, especially when we're doing anything beyond like 1850 or so. You know, by the way, earlier painters were influenced by Eastern art too. I mean, in the West. You can see even Rubens and whatever. We're talking, you know, 1500s, early 1600s. Sure they were, but not like they were in the 19th century. Okay, there you go. If you want to take a photo. It's just so it's so important that we understand the influences, because then you understand why Degas looks the way it does. He's such a split from classicist. He's a classicist. We're talking about an artist who is totally a classicist, right? And then he sees Eastern art and then all the ideas of the time, and he puts it all together and comes up with this completely different way of seeing. It's so influential. So very important that you understand. Of course, you have Van Gogh too. And the list goes on and on and on. Of course, Mary Cassatt, which Diane told us about last week, that's what got me started on this. And I just thought, you know, I love this idea. Thank you for that idea, but I felt like getting to the heart of the soul of the matter here. She was a great painter, but I don't think I'd put her in the class of a Hokusai as far as like, you know, especially the type of painting, the type of thing. But the fact that she studied so intensively and let herself get influenced like that was amazing. So absolutely, the way, I love that she just shows how it influenced her. All right, and you can see it in the oil paintings, absolutely. Okay, now let's go for this. Oh, there it is. Okay. One in there. And let's mark up our centers again, just to kind of help keep us in line. Turn around there. Pull it down a little bit. Okay. So I thought maybe we would just find out where the center is. Okay. And let's just take this big, amazing wave. If your wave isn't exactly like this wave, don't worry about it. It's the whole experience. You notice how I just sort of framed all this. I'm not going to get in and do every single thing because then I have to do it all over again. You'll see. Go on there. And then I like how this just comes right back up. And if here's the center, it's higher than the center. It's about here. And if here's the center there, then the mountain's over here. I'm just going to sketch in at the mountain. Whoops. All right, and look at the overlap. He overlaps. Why does he do that? For clarity. And he avoids a tangent by clearly overlapping that. He's right up there with, I mean, his design sense is amazing. The more you break it down, and the more you study composition, the more you look at these people and you go, wow, no wonder they're so influential. I can really kind of point that later. Okay, now, so this gives me a lot of parameters here. That's all I'm looking for at this point. I think at this point, yeah, I'm gonna bring this one up. We have this wave that kind of comes up and up and up and down. It kind of wraps around, and it really goes right over that boat. These look sort of reminiscent of your chop strokes, Henry. Some of these. I sit back and watch your videos sometimes, and I just like watching them. Someday I'll take your class, but I like just relaxing and watching them. Okay. So you see how my drawing isn't really specific. Take that down a little further. Because we'll get more specific with the pen, with the either whatever instrument you're going to use. I'm going to use just a brush. The pen would be just fine. So if this one ends there, then the next one ends about here. Right, and it branches off. And this one comes on up. And we have a couple. And there's that boat. You get the looks like they all have their heads over the edge, like they're getting ready to for a big wave, or maybe they're hurling over the edge. I can't handle it, guys.
That's what I was thinking. They're all throwing.
No, really. Too afraid to say it. No.
They're all being bounced around.
Yeah. They're like, I've had enough of this. I mean, I don't usually. I do this every day, and I've never been through this before. Whoa, boy. That's gotta be rough. Maybe mine's a little large here, isn't it? Cut them down a little bit.
Like this area is pretty far from the beach.
Right.
But if you go to beach around this area, that's where I used to swim.
Really?
Because I'm from Tokyo. People go.
Oh.
Tokyo people go to this area. And all the good beaches around. But this is pretty far from the beach. I think it says Kanagawa Oki. Oki means far from the beach. And this blue color, the darkest one, that's I think it's in Japanese indigo. And then
They said Prussian. Do you think it's indigo though? It looks a lot like indigo.
Prussian is the lightest one, and then the second lightest one. But
I agree with you. I do agree.
Yeah.
I don't have indigo on me. Do I? I have it in oils, but I don't have it in.
So Prussian blue was imported from Netherlands.
Yeah.
You know, so we have a long relationship with Holland, Netherlands, and
that's why Holbein.
Yeah, that's why Holbein. And this was brought by Dutch. This blue.
And they didn't try to push Christianity on you, I guess. Yeah, they tried.
Well, that's more like the Spanish and Portuguese. So the Dutch, Spanish, Portuguese came by, but we are culturally influenced by Dutch people. We still use some Dutch words.
Whoa! I didn't know that.
In Japanese language, yeah.
That is so interesting. Wow.
Yeah, but we say music box, orgel, and that's a Dutch word. for music box
Oh. Wow.
and so forth. So this was imported. I mean, this was brought by Holland, but I think it's made in Germany. That's why it's called Bello Blue. Bello means from Berlin.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So before that, Japanese only have what do you call that? Indigo, Japanese blue.
These people were just
But
all
this
over
is
the
the
world.
first time.
Okay. Something like that. No, it's so if I were going to use pure Prussian, I just use the cad red in this color to gray it a little bit. If I were going to use pure Prussian, it would look a little bit more saturated like that. So whatever works. I think that even looks good too. So now I say the darkest value you'll want to use for a line, and I think the thing to do is let's do the line first. You could do it last, but I think the best way to do it is probably first, because we're still not really locked down on the drawing 100%.
You're not gonna put that kind of that creamy wash or the ink
Oh,
that in
that might be a good idea, huh? Yeah, let's do that now. Then I'll have a good long time to dry. Thank you, Diane. A really good suggestion. Really, really good suggestion. Red, yellow, and blue. I'm putting very little on there. You know, maybe we should do the black too. Yeah, I'm just putting very little on there. It's almost like dirty water. You know, I mean, you could put the pink in there too. If you want. Now I was gonna erase that. Well, whatever. It's a day. Put that in there. I don't know how to get it up and right exactly in all those. So that, oh, maybe what I'll do is I'll just do a little of that right now. Put it in here too. I mean, have it on my brush. I don't know why I'm doing this. I guess because I'd have it on my brush. There's a little bit on the bottom here. You can put this in later, but I like. Time to. You know, we could even put that pink in the sky. Probably should have done that earlier. Yeah. The thing is here, when you're putting in your colors too, make sure you really clean that brush. Because they're kind of, remember, each color is flat. Laid on there. So it's unlike we're used to you working. They're creating many versions of the same thing, whereas we're just doing one. A little bit of pink up there. Whoops. There we go. Wow. If I only had 5 more years, I'd be a master. That's why I don't throw down. I don't throw around that word very. People say it so loosely. Oh, he's a master. I mean, in some ways, everybody's a master, really. But I mean, when you're striving for this thing and you know what it is, and you know you're not there yet, and you've seen others that are, you don't throw around that word very lightly. Okay. Now I'm going to use a very light version. I'm going to do the wave. Well, no, I'm sorry. Whoops. Let's do the line. I'm thinking this is the time to do the line. Some people might put in all their colors first, let them all dry, and then put in the line. I'm going to put in the line first. So it's going to be the same value. As the dark in the wave, I'm pretty sure it's about the same value. Maybe I could use the Henry rat tail brush. Let's see how it works. Oh, what's nice. It's nice. It's a little light though. I need to get more paint on there.
Yeah, it's known as the rat whisker brush, but it's not actually from the whisker. It's the.
This is the whisker? Oh.
Yeah, the rabbit hair.
Oh, okay. All right, let's give it a whirl right here. Oh, it's leaking into the sky there. Maybe I'll start on the inside. Going back up with it's not going to work. I could use a thinner stroke. Less paint. I'll get it.
What about a pen?
Yeah, go ahead and use a pen. think there with my lines. Gotta keep them thin. Yeah, a pen might be the better way to go if you have a pen. If you have a blue pen, but go ahead and use a black one if you don't. Right. This one really reaches out there. If I don't come up with a quicker way to do these, it was a lot easier to draw them. You see, I just sort of gestured in the basic part there and then come back in later and really draw each one. Now here's another thing you might want to think about too. If you want to use the mask, the liquid mask stuff, you can put on, oh, I guess I can't do it here now, can I? But you could put it in over here. Do all that. I didn't even think about that. I'm just going to use white. You know, by the way, a lot of, especially traditional cartoonists, are very, very much into these woodblock prints. Instead of, and they when they do their own inking, and it's very similar. And I know a couple famous ones too. They're really into all this. So you see the ripple effects of this type of art form. How do you say it again? This one again? It starts with the U.
Floating word.
What the merchants were buying for the common people. Oh, what's it called? Anyway, sorry.
Oh, you mean the ukiyo-e?
Yeah, thank you. Thank you.
Ukiyo-e was not aristocrats' art. The ukiyo-e is for people. You know?
Right, because the merchants, who are, I guess, the lowest class, right? Who rose up.
Right.
That was interesting. You know, a lot of the same thing happened in Europe, which is why people started buying landscape painting. When landscape gets big in the late 16, mid-1600s or so, late 15, this artist named Kuyp. So the same thing. These merchants started buying paintings, and they're not figures; they're landscape paintings. Interesting. I wonder if maybe the Chinese and Japanese influenced them, right? Who knows?
But when it started, it's they like to paint. They like to draw kabuki, like actors, celebrities these days, right? So it's beautiful women and or courtesan or prostitutes and stuff like that. Then I think it's almost like a Hokusai kind of started to do this landscape. So he did like a 36 Fuji figure, which all different.
And they're amazing. What a, and how old was he when he did those?
Right.
Gosh.
I think this one is after 70.
Wow. I love the little break in his line there. Right there. That's pretty cool. Very thin lines back here. Ah, messed it up.
No, good.
Okay. Okay, well, at least it like gives me most of my outer edge here. And right in here, he talked about him being claw-like, and that's exactly what I was thinking. Very sort of like talons from an eagle. It just goes to show that with all this art we study, how many forms and how rich all of our cultural heritage is. I mean, that's what artists do, you know. We usually learn what's done in the past, and then we move it along in some way, just like he did. Spent a lot of time on these waves. I know I'm not getting them right, but oh well. I certainly could draw these out with a pencil a lot better. I wonder if I should do it with a colored pencil. It's just so, you know, when you push with this, it makes a fat line. And when you pull, you get a nice thin line, but see, that does. Oh, wait a second. Oh.
excuse me, what kind of pen is that? It's obviously, is it not water soluble or it is a little
What?
bit?
This is just a brush. I'm just using a brush.
Oh, the very, okay. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
So a brush, okay.
Mm-hmm. Just a thin brush. You don't have to do it exactly right. Just give it a whirl. My line's a little fat too. You know, I would have loved to use this fountain pen I have, but it's just not working. I can't get the darn thing to work. I gotta blow it all out with alcohol or something and just. A lot of line work. The painting goes really fast. And you know, we're not really a line class. I mean, say if you were inking in comics or some of these, they're really good, really good at this. I used to be a lot better. It's good though. And they really take their line serious. But it comes from a lot of this. They saw this kind of thing and said, oh. That's amazing. Oops. Oh. or the woodblock painter, carver, you know, they not only have to know how to carve well. I mean, the really good ones know how to draw well. It's not normal for craftsmen to know how to draw really well, but they have it. They just don't have the. They have the talent, but maybe not the experience. And some do. The masters usually do. My mom told me my dad never had a drawing lesson. I never went to school. And he was a master farrier, which is a metal, you know. He was a blacksmith, but the master farrier is the they do horses, but he did all kinds of other jobs, you know, all kinds of sculptures and anything people wanted, just anything to do with metal. And so the story goes, I guess, she said, little known fact, he could draw like you wouldn't believe. And I said, wow, where'd you learn that? She goes, I don't know. Because I just showed him, you know, we were just messing around and I watched him draw. And she goes, and I don't mean like, just like expressive drawing either. I'm talking precise and expressive, but could do really precise stuff. And, wow. Guy had that craftsmanship in his blood. That's interesting. Now I occasionally see a kid, this is, I think I mentioned this last year. I don't know if any of you remember, but I was with my plein air class and this kid saw us and came right over to us. And wanted to paint, and I said, oh, okay. So I usually keep some stuff for anyone who wants to, like, especially kids that want to paint. So let him paint, her paint, excuse me, and it was probably 2 hours later. She was done. I'm like, what? This kid is only about 6 years old. Where did you get that attention span? And the mom just looks at me and she goes, I don't know. I go, yeah, get that kid in some art school. Some people just have that ability, you know. Not ability, but they want to do it, you know. And so they practice and practice and practice and practice. You know, if you want to put this up here, by the way, I don't know how to write those words, but you know, feel free to just put some sort of indication, because it is a compositional effect up here. I can see it. I remember I did this big, we had to do for one of our classes, we had to do this big screen. Like the screen, like you change behind. And I decided to do this with a kind of Japanese sort of thing on it, and my roommate was Japanese, and I said, hey Terry, I don't know what to write here. Do you know what to write? And he goes, oh yeah, let me see that. Put all these letters. It looks so good. He just made my painting look so good. So I turned it in. The teacher goes, you definitely did not write that. I go, okay, guilty. I'm guilty. But I just thought it would look good. I mean, what's the crime in that? I didn't make the paper either. And, you know, I had another Japanese friend. Oh, what's her first name? She went on to do great things over at Disney. Oh my goodness, I can see her face. I can't say her name. She showed me how to make handmade paper. I mean, I think her last name was Kobayashi. My friend, we call him, I mean, he just goes by Terry. But my roommate was Takashi Mira. He's a great plein air painter. He lives up north. I mean, he's a great one. Might be good to erase some of this. No. Oh, I forgot to do my little line work on these little guys. That's what happens when you erase it. You'll clear a lot of that up. You'll go, oh gosh, whoops. I can't remember her first name, but I can totally see her face. I mean, I could draw her right now. But anyway, yeah, she did really, I mean, wow. Really great things over at, I mean, I think she won some awards, like big ones, like Emmy and... Pretty sure she did. I used to joke with my friend Terry. I mean, you look at the samurai in some of these prints, he looks exactly like him. Exactly. I mean, and then he go, you mean like this? And he'd make the face, and I'm going, like he's holding the sword and make the face. The big giant eyes, you know, and I'm like, oh my gosh. Oh, you know, if you blow these up a little bit, like I'm looking at these guys here all blown up, and I'll get in there. It is really intricate line work. I don't know how they did that. They must have carved it in there with a needle. It is crazy. Oh, I didn't know it was that nuts. So there's the note. Maybe we won't get as intricate as they do because we only have a limited amount of time, but wow. That is some, but we can appreciate it, and that's what we're here to do. All right, so I should have left room for this little thing right here, and this little thing right here, in very nice perspective. Wow. And these guys are all on one too. Same kind of deal. Some sort of platform or all right. Okay, and then oh whoops. I should have zoomed in on that. I just put a little bit under there. Now these boats. Yeah, they get really intricate over here. So, you know, you can shorthand it. But the thing to note is to just appreciate the craftsmanship behind some of this. It's just amazing. this, and this.
You even see like little indication of eyes.
I can see them, huh? Little.
Yeah, that one. He has eyes.
Yeah. It is wild. They didn't just knock these things out. I think they knew they were working on greatness. And yeah, you really do have to hand over a lot of it to the craftsmen as well. And it's a great design, fantastically drawn and everything, but they really bring it home. That's one thing when I was an art director too. You can't take all the credit, even though a lot of times when the awards come around, you get all the credit. But you think of all the people that sweat out over them, you're like, oh well, I'm kind of embarrassed to take all this credit, but. Wow, there's a couple things going on down here that I don't even understand. Look at this thing.
Hokusai moved around like 90 times, which is the same same years that he lived. So when it says when he paint and make a mess, and
then he just moved.
Yeah, he just moved.
It's not for me to move.
And last time he moved back the same place. That was the same mess. So
oh really?
He decided not to. Yes.
Oh, you mean he had 90 different houses?
90 different places that's recorded.
Wow.
So he only cares about painting or drawing. Nothing else. But he's a really adventurous and a little bit like comical and interesting, not just a stern artist.
Right. I like that.
Yeah.
I think he and I would have got along. Actually, I think of my friend Terry as it's funny. He and I learned how to paint together, really. I mean, we were both pretty good. We both were really probably 18, 19. We met up at Art Center at night before we got into Art Center, because I used to go there before I got into Art Center. And yeah, I consider him like my compadre.
Rob?
Yeah.
Is it the person you're referring to? Is it Terry Miura?
Yeah. Miura. He's brilliant.
Yeah.
Oh, he's big. Yeah.
I took a workshop from him.
You did?
Years ago. It was a oil painting workshop though. Yeah, he's such a nice person. He's a really nice person. Yeah.
Yeah.
And he lives up north. Yeah, but he came down to Los Angeles to teach a workshop. So. Yeah.
Oh, I didn't know that. Wow. How long ago was that?
Oh my goodness, a long time ago. Like
yeah, he
12 years ago, 12, 15 years
He's still doing it.
He taught it was a workshop in Montrose. I think it was like 3 or 4 days.
Diane, what was his name again?
Terry Miura. He goes by Terry, and the last name is Miura.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, check his work out too. Okay. Now, Let's put some of the light blues. I'm going to start off with the light blues. A little bit lighter than that, maybe. A little lighter than that, Rob. Add a little water. Knowing though that it's going to dry lighter, so keep that in mind. It's kind of a one-shot deal. Certainly you can come back and darken it if you want to, but remember, if it were printed, it would just be one shot. They do that one layer. They do it in layers, so you may take, you know, every color is a different layer. Yeah, Carrie lives up in Rosamond, Rosamond or Rosamond. Up there near, it's near Sacramento. We were supposed to, last time he came down here, we went and painted Elysian Park. We painted Dodger Stadium. He did a great painting. He just did a little, like an underpainting, like most people would call it an underpainting. Just a quick little thing, and kept looking at me like, Rob, are you done yet?
Lately, he's been doing, posting pieces in gouache, like quick gouache studies.
He did gouache when we were in school. He showed me how to do gouache. I mean, he showed me a lot about gouache. The thing is that he got into Art Center earlier than I did, like a year earlier. So I, because he's about a year older than me, maybe 2 years. And then so we talked about it, and he said, well, whenever you get into Art Center, just let me know, and maybe we can get a place. I said, okay. So what was I going to say? So yeah, a lot of the things at Art Center, it's nice to have kind of I'd be working at it, and he'd go, oh, you try this, you know. Helpful tips.
Since he got in earlier, he was able to show you the ropes a little bit, huh?
Yeah.
That's
well, you know,
cool.
I was asking questions.
That's so cool.
What did he say? He also played a pretty mean blues guitar. Put a little more characteristics into it. Down here and here too. Oh well. I'll just put this value in there, maybe come back later and go over it. Those shadows, right? They're shadows cast by the foam. So he does work in shadow. You know, incorporating some Western ideas as well. You know, what a great way to learn about a culture too. To go over there and paint with some artists. And they show you, you know, I mean, any culture too. I'd love to go. I'd love to go to Africa and study, I don't know, some tribal way of working, or how about the Aborigines over in, they're amazing, in Australia. I want to learn all that stuff. Again, what a great way to learn about a culture. I mean, wow. What a privilege. And talk about being alive, too. You're just getting the real culture, really, really getting it. You know, it's not like you're going somewhere and staying in hotels and getting drunk. Really meeting people, not only really meeting people, but artists typically know a lot about the culture, you know? You're teaching about culture. That's one thing when I was in, when I did that job in England, I was in the, in London. Oh boy. I had this assistant who was just talking. He was it was like having an art historian right next to you. And everything he was just telling me. I mean, you know, we'd walk down the road and I'll never forget, we're walking down this road, he goes, yeah, this was built by the Romans. You're walking on a road that was laid down, I don't know, like 1,100 years ago or 1,500 years ago or something. I just, you know, it's weird to somebody who was brought up here. You don't get to see that kind of history. Other cultures just carry it around with them. I mean, we'll do the bigger brush here. And probably should have done this, well, maybe should have done this earlier, I don't know. Go to the, I'm doing the lighter blue inside, whoops. Yeah, do that lighter blue. Oh, I forgot about the, oh yeah, I'll just hit the whites with white. Could you imagine trying to avoid all those little snowflakes? Little pieces of foam, crazy. I don't think so.
Is that a different brush than what you used?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I need to cover more space. That little thing wasn't.
Was the other one, was it like a rigger, but it had more of a body so it carried more paint?
Yeah, it has a little bit of a bladder right here.
Yeah, bladder, great word.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. It'd be wise not to put this down with too much water. I probably should have said that first. You're like, oh, Rob, thanks.
And you're
yeah. Yes?
You're using arches,
Yeah.
not hot press, cold press.
Yeah, just the regular Arches 140.
But this one might have been a good one to use hot press, huh?
Hot press? Well, it'll beat up on you. You get all those puddles.
Oh, right.
Maybe.
No, you're
How
right.
to use it. You probably would, though. I mean, you know, I certainly could see doing it, though. Maybe Gina's working on you, Pope. That'd be cool. Oh, we're gonna go darker than that. Oh, yeah. Oh. Could it be darker? Well, that was just the first one. Right, so every time they print these, you might get different values because you know they put it all depends on how much you put on there. Just very much a one-off print. That's why today, when you see a digital print, right, and it's a numbered print. That makes no sense. That doesn't make any sense. Because think about it. You have a machine making the prints. It does them all the same. In fact, the millionth print will look just like the first print because they're using the same equation. It's just a digital equation. It's not
But maybe they say it's a limited edition of 100 prints, so they have to put the number on it.
Yeah, but anybody could copy that, and I mean, it would be so easy to copy. Anyway, the giclée, that's nothing compared to a handmade print, a hand-pulled print. That's just not even in the same category. It's just to think about it. I mean, think about the business people behind that. Oh, we're gonna make a fortune. Are you kidding me? You want 5? No problem. You want 50? No problem. You want 5,000? No problem. I mean, really put a lot of great artists, craftsmen out of business, just like the camera did, right? Same deal.
Yeah, it's the same thing with a negative.
Well, it's another industrial revolution. Well, I guess they say we're in the 4th industrial revolution or something. Is that what they're saying now? This big world forum thing going on, or is it over now? Okay. All right, and let's do, oops, I forgot this part here. Let's do the dark. And I'll finish off with the little light things. Wow. What time is it? 11:35. Oh, that's not bad. I thought I was going to say 11:55. I was afraid to look. I want to get these, clearly darker, but not too ridiculous. Maybe I'll do this dark, this part I just did, just to see how it's going to be when it's wet into wet. Okay, that's pretty dark. A little lighter than that. I think maybe just pure brush on this one. Let's see, is this clear? That's dark. Maybe a little lighter than that. Hoping that dries a lot. A bit lighter. Got a lot of water in it, so. Controlled blotting. Oops. Really have to say this has been a pleasure. just don't think I'm dark enough with the one in the background now. We'll let it dry and we'll see. Because it looks dark, it looks like the right value here. I can tell you these craftsmen really sweated out over every inch, every millimeter of this thing. I love these really graceful rhythms in the foam. Imagine somebody cutting that. You gotta be pretty. Imagine what their hands must look like. They probably got muscles in their muscles in those hands, carving all day like that. I was repairing my bike yesterday, and I had to push really hard on this wrench, really hard, and so it wasn't working. So I hit it with the palm of my hand, and like, ow! I got such baby hands. So with the really clean that brush. Try some white. Just use a toothbrush. No, I'm just joking. You could, but might be better just to kind of. So I'm just taking it right out of here like this, right out of the thing. It's just there's hardly any water on my brush, just enough to keep it pointed. Just speckle away at your own bliss. big ones there. You copy this and I'd be like, wait, there's even composition to these little pieces of foam? Oh, yes, there is. They're not just randomly thrown on there. They have little clusters and then space and clusters and then little connections of small little things and then big foamy drops with little connections. They might have done the big ones first and then connected all of them with the small ones. Like, I don't know. That's probably what I would have done. Out here you can really see, you see the, looks like stars almost. See a cluster, kind of a big cluster there. Big ones. And little dicky ones in there.
Well, shouldn't some overlap?
I don't see any overlapping. There might be a little bit here and there, but I don't see it.
Yeah. I can hear you saying that if you were just doing
Yeah.
it, there should be overlapping.
I probably did mine. I'm just gonna do it unconsciously, but and it doesn't make it right. All these Western rules that I'm yelling at you guys all the time, overlap, watch out for tangents and all that thing. They're loose rules to keep in mind. They do work, but sometimes things work without them. I would say, I remember when I used to do the wrong thing and didn't even know I was doing it. But if you're doing something that's technically wrong by the rules and you know that, go ahead and do it. In a landscape type of thing. In this kind of thing, well, you can use your own judgment. It's a steady. Oh, the yellow. I never put in the yellow. I do declare. All right, let's see now. I certainly wouldn't call that yellow all that saturated. But I'm going to use a cadmium yellow and then desaturate it with some sort of violet. So try, how about ultramarine blue and magenta? There's a violet. And then just make sure it's dominated with the yellow. I'm coming up with a color like that. A little red. It'd be better. Pretty close. I think there'd be something up here. Cool thing. How about I give you till 12, and then let's get him in at 12, okay?
Recording stopped.
This is on the silk, so I can use the masking fluid and rub it with this eraser called cement eraser, something like that. So you can reveal the white or the light background of this silk. It's actually toned, so it's not so white, which is fine, I think. Maybe that's a little bit too large. The size is not controllable because I'm using this marker. So what I need to do is to just go in and fill in some more color to eliminate some unwanted spot. And just keep those you like. And maybe soften some so you can still see that there's a little color, not so pure white. Although on the woodblock print it's pure white. So I think I can hand in this one and see what Rob says. I can come back to modify. I think the sky could be a little warmer, but if I use too much color, it may block the shyness of this golden silk. So I'm going to mount it before taking a picture with the silicone mounting paper on mixed media paper backing. So I already prepared this. Just release this silicone, and the backing paper is the mixed media paper, 90-pound mixed media paper. So all I need to do is activate the silicone adhesive. No, we don't need this anymore. Okay. And you can
Recording in progress.
Okay.
Okay, I just activated it from the back. Maybe that's the idea, that I protect this surface and then turn it to the back.
I accidentally sent two of the same, so
That's okay.
yeah, I clicked twice.
Okay, we need to have a pad or something. Just use a watercolor pad. So it's not.
I am recording, right? I can't see on here. It's
facing up, it's easier to see.
Can someone tell me if I'm recording?
You are?
Okay, thank you.
Yes.
And looks like Claire's first.
So
Ooh, nice one, Claire.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah, did you use a pen? Or
I did. I used pen and ink.
that's the way to go, I think.
It's not waterproof ink though. So
Oh, so you really gonna have to do it last, huh?
yeah, I
You did
did.
pretty good though.
Yeah, I liked it.
I mean, I don't see much bleeding, so. Did you do it at the end?
Yeah, near the end.
That's a good way to go.
I used white to cover up some of the bleeds.
All right. I'm just laughing at that. Your calligraphy is almost as bad as mine.
Which
Sorry
one?
for you awesome calligraphers out there. I know you guys are like, you guys really know.
Yeah, no, I just did squiggles.
I know. No. Very nice. Now you took the edge off the whites and just glazed it all down first, huh?
Yeah, I did.
Way to go. And then, oh yeah, you came back with a nice light edge. Oh, interesting. Okay. Yeah, right here would be, you know, in printing. Let's see here. In printing, see this kind of dry brush edge you're doing there?
Mm-hmm.
That's harder to get than this. This is the kind of edge usually you see in printing where it's just a, you know, one value and then another value, but not really the dry brushing in between too much. I mean, that doesn't print as well as like boom, boom here, you know.
Oh, I see.
Especially with like, because they do it in stages. I mean, one print might have, you know, 10 or 20 layers on it or something.
Oh.
This one probably only has about 10. I don't know. All right. I'd say it looks pretty darn good.
Thank you.
Thank you.
It was fun.
I'm glad you like that. All right, Wendy. Very graphic. You really caught the idea of it too. Wow. I mean, I wouldn't want to be these guys down here. The perfect storm. Now, did you come in with your pen first, or did you do that last?
I did it at the end. I've never used pen. It was kind of fun.
Yeah. Yeah. That's good. I mean, because it looks really flat and graphic, and it's not bleeding or anything, so it's doing its job.
And then I did splatter for the white, and then I got it all over my computer, I realized.
Yeah. Did you get it in your keyboard?
No, I didn't, just up on the screen.
That's a bummer when it gets in my keyboard. I've taken this keyboard apart so many times, now I know how to really do it. The first time was scary taking my keyboard apart, but now I'm an old pro at it. I spill so much stuff on my keyboard. Yeah, it looks good. You caught the drama of it. You caught the idea of it. Definitely, it feels imposing. You're seeing all of the different layers, especially right here is what we're talking about. You've got you've got this blue layer here, and then the white, and then this layer, and then this layer. You can just see it one after the other.
I was pretty intimidated when I started sketching it, like, oh, this is going to be really hard, but it was just kind of a process, as it usually always turns into.
Right, you get into the rhythm of it once you find something that works, and yeah. I did the same thing. Good question. I mean, ooh, I like how you really flatten this one. Really, like we're looking down on it. This goes right from the side, pretty much like they are.
Oh, thank you.
Very cool. Very graphic quality to this one. Okay.
Thank you. It's fun.
Wendy. Nice work. Lisa? So yours is more tonal.
Yeah, this is more my style.
I know.
I tried the other way, but no.
We in the West we're more geared toward tonal.
And the blue
it's that realistic past we have, you know. What was that?
Oh, the blue is much brighter in the original.
Yeah.
It's not so dull.
Now, if you wanted to get some of those whites, you could always paint white back over it, or yeah, oh yeah, you can certainly come on the top of the wave. Let's see here.
Right. Yeah.
I mean, it's
tried, but
clearly up to you, but
Yeah, I added some and then it kind of just I didn't go as bright, but I'll keep layering it.
If you like. I mean, that's you can try the light on there.
Right.
And then, maybe you could try some of the line work.
Yeah, I just went over it with some pen too.
Yeah? Oh, okay. Yeah, I would definitely get into the line work and so on.
It was fun though when I tried to do it, but it's like, I'm more watercolor.
Yeah, I know. Now, by the way, a lot of prints, a lot of etchings are then gone over with watercolor. So that's another, the etching technique has been done for centuries and centuries. Well, they'll work back over it in watercolor. It's a really beautiful way to do it. But anyway, you got a really cool thing going here. I mean, you got this whole swooping feeling of the imposing wave on the boat.
Exactly. I should have. I did some pencil and added some detail to the boat with some inside the boat. But I guess I should have put some people, but I don't want to mess it up.
I would experiment with some line work.
Yeah.
And some white, if you like. So think about it.
Yeah, I will.
All right.
Thank you.
Thank you, Lisa.
Bye.
Bye. Teresa. Is this a Hokusai print? Oh, you got all the characters very nice too. Jeez.
Yeah, they just look like Chinese character, which I'm good at.
Oh, you too, huh? Oh boy. Oh boy. I did not even know that, but it makes sense. Why? This boat looks great.
I draw them by an ink pen.
Oh, you did the ink pen?
Yeah.
How about this line back here, which looks awesome? I mean, that really looks like a woodcut line right there. Wow. How'd you do that?
With a brush.
With a brush.
Yeah, thank you.
Just has that woodcut feeling to it. How beautiful. Negative shapes down here. Look at these. Huge. You see the juxtaposition of the light foam on the dark background.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, he really gets things to pop here. Just. And then here want more light on dark here. I guess we don't have much dark on light, except maybe when the wave hits the background. But they're actually very carefully mapped out. Every little shape in this is very carefully mapped out. Like I was even noticing that if you take the little dark jackets behind all the people, they're dark, and then you put something light behind them.
Oh.
And that sets them off. I mean, everything is set off in these pieces. It's just an extremely dynamic composition. So you cut it very nicely. I mean, the only thing I would say, we didn't have all kinds of time, but maybe a little thicker in your lines in places where you did the pen, just to get rid of that. Just give it a little more uneven look.
Oh.
Like just take your brush, not everywhere, but here and there.
Yeah.
Just here and there. That's all. You're done. This thing's great. Very well done.
Thank you.
It really looks like a print too. Sheesh. Okay. And Julie. Oh. Now, how just out of curiosity, how did you get every one of these little white beads So just sit up on the surface like that, and they catch the light over here, and everyone goes into shadow. It's almost as if they're wet, but I know you wouldn't do that.
They're a bit thick, and I used a toothpick. My brush was too thick.
You used a toothpick. That's smart.
My white was very liquidy coming out of the tube. It wasn't thick enough, so.
You know, I look at this big drip right here. You're like, oh wait, I forgot to put some here. I'll just.
Well, the blue ran into a lot of my white areas, so I added the white there.
Now, by the way, that white will dry quite a bit darker, and so whatever, you just go over it again. But all right, nice looking stuff. Nice looking lines. Again, with the lines, maybe you could go occasionally a little bit thicker.
Yeah.
But that's okay, you know. Here and there, just to, that'd be something I'd play with later. I'd say your line looks really good there. Wow. And the ships look good. You know, we got in these sort of little negative shapes in here. Like you'll see like a little dark in there, and they really make a difference. I might play with a couple of those if you like. Anyway, very nicely done. I mean, all your values are great, colors are great. Maybe a touch pinker up here if you like.
Yeah, I like the last one a lot with the colors. That was really beautiful.
Yeah, I just wait for some of these thick areas like this and this to dry. You'll see that they'll probably dry quite a bit darker. So you might have to come back and smack them again a little.
Yeah, the end of the boat disappeared too.
Yeah, yep. So just hit it with some pure white.
Okay, thank you.
All right, thank you. And Diane. Oh, wow. And you did yours all with the brush, huh?
Oh, Rob, I have a second one because I forgot a whole section on the right.
Oh.
Sorry. It's not much better, but it says Diane used this one.
Okay. And I think that's what that is the one I'm doing right there. Yeah, use this one. And nice looking brush with the lines.
Yeah, I use brush on everything.
I know, huh? It's the best. It's the most versatile drawing thing.
I think I held my breath the whole time.
Yeah, huh? Did you do that?
I did.
Yeah. Sometimes when I'm drawing a line or trying to be careful, I'll hold my breath. It's probably not a great idea.
No.
I think what I'm going to do is really sit down later and really try to capture and copy the shape of a lot of those little.
Yeah.
And they almost look like.
Mine don't look very claw-like, or I don't know what they look like.
Yeah.
I want to do it over again and like really take more time to look at shapes.
Well, yeah.
And even like the perspective.
It's a nice steady though.
Wave is
I would say, if anything, see how on the top of these are all they're kind of going over this way.
Yeah.
So maybe a couple going like under.
Yeah, they're all going in the same direction. So
like down here looks this looks ideal. And I did the same thing, so it's funny, I get to pick all over you guys' work, and then I'll look at my own and I go, well, I'll come back and then play with it and try to make some corrections and whatever. But I learned a lot by critiquing your guys' work.
Well, this was, yeah, I see other sections I totally didn't paint, but that's okay.
Right.
And I didn't have the shape of the wave, the
Looks
stripes.
great.
But I want to do it again and really like take my time and study. So,
Yeah.
But thank you. This was a fun.
I know. This composition looks so great. I want to frame it and just put it on my wall. Okay. Thank you, Diane. I'll come back to the other, not this one. There. So we got George B. Go. Great colors, George. Maybe a little more pink in the top.
Yeah, you know, I'm working from a print that I had from a few years ago.
Oh, you're really working from your own print? Wow.
Yeah, and it's very different from the one you sent. Not a whole lot, but the colors are different, and it has that, I guess, kind of ocean, a real dark line.
Oh, it does. You have horizon there?
Yeah.
Wow.
And the sky has no pink in it. It's just kind of a yellowish gray. But I can send you a photo.
Yeah, that's fine. That's fine. I think it's great. I'd love to see your print, by the way. What was I going to say? Yeah, there's a lot of variation in these prints. There can be so much because who knows how many thousand, maybe like you said, maybe upward into 1,000 prints. That's hard when you're really rubbing on that board. After 500 prints, you can see the difference.
Yeah.
Big time. Nice
But
looking.
This was a lot of fun. You really appreciated these artists, you know.
Yeah. Definitely. Maybe a little thicker in occasionally in some of these interior ones. Just hit them like see how you did back here.
Yeah,
a variation to that line. Just a couple here and there. A little dark here and there.
Yeah, I started with paint. The ones on top, the line on top is paint, and then I switched to a blue pen.
Right. Well, maybe incorporate that if you like, or maybe a heavier marker or something in there.
Yeah.
Just to give it a little touch of variation. I mean, I think it's looking really good though. Yeah. We didn't get enough light stuff back here, but that's fine.
I see. Yeah.
Get some stripes.
Right, stripes.
It's okay. All right. Thank you, George.
Hey.
All right.
Thank you.
You're welcome. And Henry, we have 3 different ones. Oh, beautiful.
Rob, I have also sent you the T-shirt I'm wearing right now.
Oh, you're kidding me.
Yeah, this is my first attempt. I did 30 years ago on a T-shirt. I found it this morning, and I took this picture in my backyard, wearing it now.
Yeah, you look pretty styling with those sunglasses on there.
Thank you.
Look like you're ready to hang loose at the beach and do a little, get gnarly on a wave, you know? You know, dude?
Yeah. Yeah, that's my beach shirt. Yeah.
That's a very cool shirt. I love it.
Yeah. This was what I did in the cast. The light doesn't show the red. I think it just paled off.
Yeah, you really got those curls in the waves down there. Wow.
Thank you. Yeah, I used the liner.
Liner brush?
Yeah, a liner has an extended point. Yeah.
I was afraid to go that thin. I should have done that one.
Mm-hmm. I traced it with light box. That's the only way to do it in short period of time.
Yeah.
It was on silk, so translucent.
I was wondering. That's on silk. Yeah, you can see.
Yeah.
You can see the pattern.
But I painted it too thick. It should be thinner to show the texture better, I think.
You chose to leave the little gray out in the background?
Actually, it's a toned silk. It has the gold color.
Yeah.
Yeah, I could have more pink, I think. On the
Yeah, a
sky.
little pink up there.
Yeah, I will add that.
Beautiful. You left out these boats, huh?
Oh, I left out all those boats.
You know, I when I first looked at it, I had to look at it again. I go, wait, there's more boats. Wait, whoa, where's the other boats? I was like, wow, they hide in there.
Yeah.
What else? Anyway, beautiful wave work. Wow. Thanks for showing us that.
The T-shirt.
Cool.
Yeah, I like this one.
I like this one. Yeah.
I changed all the bottom part, the right side. There's a sailor in the distance on horizon, and this is what we call the sail. This not just the serving. It has sail.
Oh, windsurfing.
Windsurfing. Yeah.
Yeah, up in Ventura, you see a lot of windsurfers up there. It gets real windy.
Yeah, they flip in the air.
Oh man, I'm telling you, I have a feeling T-shirts like this would sell like crazy if you ever tried to do it.
Yeah, I should have produced it, but it took a long time to print. Yeah, it should be silk screened maybe.
Yeah. You know, have someone else. Nowadays, you can just, you know what to do. But just call it these web pages and they'll.
Oh yeah, they have this. Yeah, I should probably take a
you.
picture and reproduce it on.
And send it to the person and everything.
Right. Definitely. Thank you.
Yeah, beautiful work. Thank you. Okay. And okay. Barbara. I'm gonna go with this one, Barbara.
Okay, they're all the same. I was having trouble with my internet. It wasn't sending with my email, but all of a sudden it sent them all.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I've been having a little bit of problem with my internet too. Really.
Yeah. I was up in Santa Barbara a couple weeks ago, and I bought a print of this, and I started painting it. So this is from another print that I bought.
Oh, wow. So before you even knew we were going to do it?
Yes.
So you must have been elated.
I was. I love it.
Oh, great. Now, does yours have the horizon too, just like George? Yours looks like it has the horizon too.
Yeah, mine is similar to George's, very similar to George's.
Interesting. Because the one they were showing in the video didn't have that, and then the other one. So I wonder why. Huh.
It did. It had that gray horizon.
Yeah.
I made it too gray, but I think it's pretty accurate. The print.
And Mount Fuji was below the horizon, huh?
Yes, it was. Mm-hmm.
Huh.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I don't.
How about all the things we learned today? We're gonna walk away from this. The takeaway from today is there's just so much. Learning about his life, learning about the way they view paintings, especially since when he said Westerners want the one view, whereas a lot of Easterners have multiple views. It's just all of that is just fantastic. But anyway, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off. What were you saying? I don't know, Rob. I forgot. But we were talking about the horizon being there.
Yes.
This is actually below that's interesting. Wow.
It was below. I double checked and it was below.
Wow.
Maybe it's a cloud bank or fog bank.
It kind of looks like that to me. Yeah.
Yeah, that's what it is. Mm-hmm.
Wow. Could you imagine how high you must have to be up on a wave just to see that vantage point? No land below. Wow. Well, I'd say nice looking work. You really got these waves down. Did you use a pen for that, or?
I used the pen afterward. After I did it with pencil first, and then I painted. Then I went back with the pen, and then I kind of went over it with colored pencil
Mm.
of the lines, of the black lines, to make them maybe a little lighter.
Right. Interesting that they said it was done in Prussian blue, huh?
Mm-hmm.
Looks like you used Prussian here, and maybe ultramarine here, or maybe both.
Or is that cobalt?
And I used a little cerulean, I think.
Oh yeah, it looks like you can see the greenish, yeah,
Mm-hmm.
definitely. Did yours print out kind of greenish? Was the print you were working from maybe greener than the one we saw on the? I mean, you know, that's the way prints are too.
Mm-hmm.
My whole relationship with printing, I mean, and I know Diane is a graphic designer, and but so she knows a lot about printing. But I don't know a lot about printing. I know more than I ever wanted to know, though. And one thing is, artists' relationship with printing is, you know, it's hard. It's really hard on us because it's really hard to get the colors right. But you know, this looks good. Yeah.
Thanks. I enjoy doing it. It took me a long time.
Well, I think that's sort of serendipitous. Serendipity? Serendipitous? How's that?
Yeah.
All right.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you.
Thank you. And skip the others. They're just the same.
Yeah. Yeah, I went with the last one. So we're on Suzanne. What'd you think, Suzanne? That looks good.
I think it's very fun.
Did you actually avoid? Wow, you went around those?
Yeah, I tried to avoid it in the beginning, and then I didn't on the way.
You did the same in here, huh?
I did some of it the same in there. I found if I just used a brushy brush, then it kind of left them whites.
Yeah. Wow. I commend you on your fortitude there. That's amazing. I'm too lazy. I was thinking about actually using the whiteout on it, but I never did. So I think I'm glad I didn't, because I think that would have been a lot of work. Oh, your mountain looks fantastic. All your people look great. Boat looks great. Line work, yeah, you got nice and thick around up in here. You know, you could thicken it up another area. I guess you didn't get to all of it. Yeah, that's
yeah,
cool.
no, I have, yeah, there it is.
Your drawing is great. So this is going to be fantastic. Yeah. Everything's working. Little line. Just think about the line. Think about the density. You definitely are thinking about that, because I could see that, you know, you took maybe a brush to the back here.
Yeah, I went back with a brush just to kind of a little more regularity. I did it with a pen, but you know, with just a fine pen, but that is very uniform.
Right. And then maybe just hit a brush in there once in a while, just to give a little variation to the lines.
Yeah. Okay.
So that's about it. I mean, everything else was perfecto.
It was fun. Thank you very much.
Yeah. All right. Thank you. Nice work. Victor. All right, we're getting down to the end for those of you that are holding out to the end, so please. All right. Please get him in there. Hey, Hector.
Hi, Rob.
What's going on, my friend? Ah, so you decided to go a little darker with your whites, huh? Then over here you kept them a little.
On my print, it was yellow.
Now, I just want to know one thing. Yes. How did you get these little light dots in there, like right there? That's amazing. I mean, they look like a photo, like something. You know, I'm just joking. Was it like
it's those watercolor accidents? They kind of look like UFOs.
That's what they are. I knew it. How come I can't get in here? Hold on a second. Let me get you out. Here, now let me zoom in. There we go. Yeah. Maybe after this dries, a little more line work.
I was thinking of that.
If you like, you definitely got the drafting great, composition. Wow. Anything in particular you learned? Anything you're taking away from this?
I'm sure I have. Because it was, it's very interesting to ask that question when I know I have felt I got something out of it. It's like, I almost got the same feelings that when I've done a Picasso, you know, of his women,
right?
The sensuousness of those round figures of his ladies with the, you know, the faces distorted but very round, not the ones running, but very modern. I kind of got the same feeling. Pardon me?
Remember, what did Edward Hopper say? He said, if I could tell you, I'd be, well,
yeah,
right?
Exactly. But
I wouldn't have to paint it.
Yeah, what you get out of doing master's paintings, trying to copy or to learn from it, it's trying to learn from it, not trying to do another exact copy of it.
Right. So maybe the word master study is better, right?
Yeah, I think it's. I think that's what's more important to get out of doing this than trying to put emphasis and trying to make it look, you know, real.
I'll tell you what, though, doing all these master studies, it gets into you. It gets into you.
It does. It does.
And it might even affect when you go to a museum, having a different perspective. You know, one thing art history did for me was I go into a museum and I could put I have all these categories that I put artists into. And not only categories, but families, and I call them veins or branches on a tree, you know? And so yeah, this artist definitely fits into this category and this kind of branch and this subcategory, and I'll do all that. After a while, it's like art. You know, you go into a museum and you look at these artists and you just go, yeah, okay, this is what they were trying to do. This is what is this person trying to do? Oh, that's interesting. You could, especially when you consider the history.
I always found it was the discovery of something in those masters' paintings. Yeah. When you see them at a museum, some little bit of discovery of the way they applied the paint, the colors they used. I didn't see that and this, you know. I'm always being told to step away,
right?
Because I get too close. But that's the enjoyment of seeing
right. Yeah, because you can't do that. You can't see that normally. That's the thing you can't do. Exactly. Is get your nose right up into a painting and see it.
Yeah.
But by the way, did anybody hear about that? Did anybody hear about some Rufus? Speared something on the Mona Lisa?
Mona Lisa?
Yeah, he was in a wheelchair. He was in a wheelchair.
How about that?
He threw a
now
key
what are they going to do? They're going to have to put it in a dang cage.
No, it was saved by the glass.
Oh, that was the glass.
He threw a cake.
I thought he. What was that?
He threw a cake at it. He was in a wheelchair.
Oh, okay. So the glass saved it. Okay.
Yeah.
I thought
it's already behind glass. So.
Oh, okay. Good. It's like bulletproof glass, I think. Sheesh. Hey, just one other question, Hector.
Yes.
Before we go. Now, that looks like an eye right there. It looks like an eye, and maybe one over here. Okay. Just curious. No. Very nice work.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I enjoyed it.
All right. By the way, your line work right here, is amazing. So if you're going to do any other line work, that's what I would emulate right there.
Okay.
Very calligraphic. Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
You're welcome. And okay, everybody, have you got your work in yet? Let's get it in, please. All right. Wow, this looks like a print. See, the thing that makes it look like a print are these very solid colors and values you got here. They look like they were printed like this. Boom. You see how you've got this very kind of isolated. It has one value to it, and then you moved on. It's not really tonal. So you're getting it in your waves quite a bit, and then the line work looks very graphic, really very, very apparent. Your light foam really reads up against this, so that's good. If anything, when you really get them white out here, if you can get it in white. And
what do you? Too much white out there, Rob? What?
No. I was just saying maybe a little whiter, so they really pop out there. Now, did you use some of that robot stuff? What is it called? The mask?
I masked I masked all my whites practically, and it certainly was a pain to get it dry enough to clear it off. You could still see.
Oh, that's what it was. Okay.
You still can see some masking on there, but
oh, maybe some of these are masked still out here.
Oh, those were masked.
Uh-huh.
Oh, they have to just dry to get whiter, that's all.
Oh, they're underpainted in that yellow, that's what it was, yeah, okay. Very nice. You get a real print feel to this, though. Interesting. And I like I said on others, I think you can give a little more, very, like, thick and thinner to your line, a little bit thick here, a little bit thin.
Okay.
You're getting a lot of good stuff here on the edges in your line. You got a lot of thin lines, so just come back and hit a little bit of thick once in a while.
Okay.
You know, just gonna come back and. Is everybody got their things off? What do you call it? Is everybody muted? Everybody in the class? Make sure you're muted. All right, and maybe here, maybe a little thicker there. Boats look good. Is this all, that was masked out, huh? Oh,
yeah,
that's a great way to do it. So did you mask out this way too?
Well, I masked out the top line, not the rest of it.
Right, so it would be.
There was no reason because there was so much of that white.
Right. That makes sense. This was masked out here?
Yes.
Oh, nice. Right, so the reason you got such a clear line here is because it wasn't wet. So
right.
when you drag this line over, you don't get the bleeding. In this kind of case, when we don't necessarily want the watercolor effect, I mean, I don't mind. It looks good. I mean, you know, we live for all this stuff. It's beautiful, but so if you want a little bit more, you could maybe drag about. If you wanted clearer lines, you could do that.
I sort of like the watercolor.
Yeah, I do too.
Having it look
It's
straight.
really up to you. Yeah. All right.
What a fun painting.
Yeah, I know, huh?
Yeah.
That's what I want to do. I want to keep shaking it up in here.
Okay. All right.
All right.
Thank you.
Thank you. And let's go. Oh.
Hi, Bob.
Hi. You probably even know what this says, huh? Over here.
You know what? Mount Fuji is a little bit slanting.
Oh, your Mount Fuji slanting. Oh.
That's very bad. So,
So
You used another print also, because your horizon's above the.
All the prints or even in the internet that has that kind of grayish, what do you call that, the horizon line or smoke line or. So I think that's the way.
Yeah, that's probably.
That's the original. Yeah, I went to Hokusai Museum in Tokyo.
Oh wow!
Several years ago, but I don't remember how it was. But I bought two books. It's like a manga. With all his drawings in paperback. Every creatures, every happening of the world, trees, wave, and little what do you call it, creatures, and everything like thousands, and it's all in just a paperback, and I try to copy, and that's great. Little, just the little things. Everything in there.
Yeah.
So if anybody goes to Japan, I recommend you to go to a Hokusai museum.
You can see the influence he's had on even. Well, look at all the manga. I mean, my God.
Right. Yes.
That's so hugely influential on. I see it at Art Center all the time. The younger students, they grow up doing that. When they do anime, but they do or is it manga? I don't know what they call it. But they're really schooled on the whole thing, and they're very, very, very good at all the line work and everything. Very good. Okay.
I have a indigo color, so I use the indigo for a thick group. Indigo is like almost a Japanese color.
It's a
Chinese painting.
That color you're using, I think, is just about perfect.
Yes, that's called indigo. I think Holbein has it.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I mean, the only thing I can think of is maybe a little thicker on your lines, maybe a little brushwork.
Yes. I'm just afraid of that. Yes. This is just a ballpoint pen, but I have an ink called Hokusai fountain pen. With the Hokusai colors, but that's smeared, so I didn't use it. Yeah.
Very nice.
But I love Hokusai.
Oh, I'm glad. Well, good. Good. Makes me happy. Okay.
Thank you so much.
Yeah. Janine. Ooh. Now, is this acrylics or?
Yeah. Yes, it's acrylic.
So yeah, the medium doesn't really matter. Cool. Great composition. Yeah, for some of that intricate line work, I'd let it all dry, and then if you want to, maybe try a pen or something, or whatever you like. I don't know.
Yeah, it's pretty loose.
It's beautiful the way it is, by the way. I think it's just, if you like the way it is, leave it. But the way you did this line here on the top is absolutely, so you got it. I mean, that's it. That's it. So if you wanted to introduce, I know it's a lot of line work, so but very, very nicely done. Any takeaways on this? What do you think?
I would probably do it again. It was fun. It's kind of big, so I think I was just rushing and I was just trying to cover.
Yeah, I can tell by the grain on the wood. That thing's about 16 by 20 or 15 by?
It's 22 by 28, I believe.
Whoa, that's really big. Yeah, I could see you were sweating. Is that canvas paper or is that just paper?
No, it's just poster board.
Uh-huh.
It's really cheap paper.
It's nice to work big though.
I just felt like I was feeling confined working smaller, and I just wanted to go outside and splash paint. So
good for you. Good for you. That sounds so inspiring. Wow.
I wanted to use my arm instead of my wrist. So
yeah.
Yeah.
I hear you. I'm getting the fever to get out there and do some big giant paintings myself. I think I'll probably do that on Sunday or Friday actually. Okay. Thank you. Beautiful, beautiful work. I mean, yeah, nice sky. I love your lavender gray in the background. I like the way you handle it. I mean, you know, it's very Hokusai. Is it Hokusai or Hokusai? I don't know how to say
Hokusai.
It. Hokusai.
Hokusai.
Hokusai influence, definitely, no question. You caught the spirit of all those. Maybe it's better to just leave that.
I think I'll just leave it and try another one, and be a little more cautious.
I hate to ask you to be more cautious. Okay. Thank you, Janine. Nice.
Sure, thank you.
As usual. And there's Gay. Ooh, I saw George up there. Hey, is there anyone else that's waiting? Let's make sure we get him in there. Okay. All right, Gay, yeah. Those darks are really reading. Wow, the dark and light here really, really read. Your dark and light shades pop. Yeah. The line, I would just hit a little, you know, we didn't have enough time, but I see you're catching. This is a great way to shorthand it too. Just come in and hit it in here, a little bit in there, instead of every single line having to be perfect. And then maybe later on your own, kind of come back in and really kind of carve out a few lines. You know,
yeah, because I did the whole thing in with brush, without ink.
Good for you. How do you feel about that? Like it? Was it fun?
I like everything, but I mean, for doing it for brush, I like everything except trying to get those claws right.
Yeah, they take a little bit more.
I kept turning it upside down and
you
know, rotating it, trying to get the feel of how he created those claws.
Yeah. And you know, the woodcutter probably had a lot to do with the way those claws look too.
Yeah.
They're very tapered. You'll notice they'll get thin. You'll get a thick line. Well, maybe the line will start off possibly kind of thin, and then it gets a little bit thicker. Every little thing is really, I'm butchering this, but from thick to thin, you'll get the taper on the edges, a little bit thicker out here, a little bit thinner at the tip. So, I mean, you're doing everything great. This looks wonderful.
Thank you.
Yeah. All right. Thank you. George. Oh boy, George. Wow. That heavy line really works. You know, I have to say, looking at your work for so long, you know, sometimes, especially in your watercolors, you get a sort of print-like quality. It's the way you work. You work very automatic.
The flatness, maybe.
Yeah. You really caught this one, George. This is a good one.
Oh, thanks.
I mean, I'm impressed. Definitely good. But I is there an attraction toward this kind of art for you?
If there is, I don't know it.
It's interesting. Well, the reason I say it is because I look at your work sometimes and they look like offset prints. You'll put a mark down and then you'll just leave it. And then you'll put another mark right down next to it and you'll just leave it. So it seems like that comes pretty natural for you to do that. I mean, you might not know this, but some people that doesn't come very natural. Some people tonalize everything. I'm one of them.
Okay. Yeah.
So, but I think it's really fun just to see those marks, those beautiful straight marks with some good straight line work. Nice sort of eagle's talon going on here.
Yes.
On some of these, yeah, you got that claw-like. You really got that sort of claw-like boom. It's gonna hit it, you know.
Yeah.
Did you do the line with brush?
No, it's with a those pit pens. It's all a I put it away already. Artist pit, 4-pit artist pens, black, and they're
that might have been the way to go.
Yeah. But they really weren't pen points. They were more like the felt tip points, but all different sizes.
Right. Did you use more than one size?
I did. I used 2 sizes.
Good. Yeah, that'll give you the variation. So it looks like you got like thinner on these ones.
Yeah.
Thicker on these outside things, and that's usually what let's say cartoonists will do that.
Okay.
They'll get the separation with the thicker line on the outside. Plus, when they print it, a lot of times the color will actually go into the line a touch. That's why they'll have, one of the reasons they'll have the thick line. So, I mean, they're quite clever about everything they do, and I don't really know a lot about it, but I know people that know a lot about it. Oh boy.
I just noticed looking at this all the way on the left above the bow. Yeah, go down now. That area, I forgot to paint the darker blue in there. No, not there. Above. Oh, go there. Up. That there. Yeah, that was a dark blue below the lighter blue. I forgot to do that.
Yeah, I did too. I just actually.
Oh yeah.
On mine, I got a little dark in there.
Yours looks good though.
Oh, thank you. Thank you.
And there have been a lot of beautiful, good ones. Terrific.
Oh yeah, you guys, you blew me away.
Yeah.
Well, good. I'm glad we all took away a lot from this.
Yeah. Was it Teresa that had the letters in it?
Looked like a Hokusai Print.
Yeah. Yeah.
Teresa, you need to be a master copier.
Definitely.
Oh, thank you.
Can you imagine?
A master copier, yeah, I could do that.
Yeah. All right, everybody. Is that it? Is there anyone else? Did I miss anyone? All right, I was pretty careful about it. Okay, good. Well, great. Great. I'm glad that was a learning experience. That's what we want every time. So we'll just keep moving along with the classes, okay? I'll just keep trying to get interesting people, and I thought this was a really interesting video too. I really liked that he gave some of the history of what was going on at the time. That's so important. I can't always find the best videos, but
I like that part of it. I like learning about them.
It really helps. Yeah.
Yeah, I do too. It really makes this class worthwhile to learn.
Yeah.
All of that too.
I'll keep trying to find good videos on them. And hey, if you guys if you see any videos on an artist that you like, send it on over. Maybe I'll do that one. I don't know.
It's fun.
Yeah.
Do you have Cezanne on your list?
Yeah, I want to do Cezanne.
Okay.
In fact, I had him down there. I could do him next week actually. I don't have the order. So.
Mary Cassatt, do you have anything at first?
I have Mary Cassatt on this term. Yeah.
Good.
Did I mail them to you guys? I didn't mail them to you.
You might have. I might have lost.
No, I don't.
I didn't mail them to you, did I? Oh.
No.
Maybe you shouldn't, in case you change your mind.
Yeah. Yeah, I have a kind of a. I'm not exactly sure. I know I could do the whole term and just tell you, but I don't know. Sometimes I get a different feeling about it, and I want to do something different next time, just because I feel like the class is pulling me in a certain different way. I don't know.
It's kind of a nice surprise, though. Every Sunday.
Okay.
Oh, we're doing
you
Hokusai.
know, you wanted to do Mary Cassatt in the Prince, and that's what led to this. So
which is
maybe we'll do
great.
Mary Cassatt.
Another time.
No. I mean, we could do her this term, but maybe in a more like, what was she really a master of? Okay.
I got it. Yeah.
That Western art with all kinds of Eastern influence, definitely. So anyway. Okay.
Rob.
Yes.
When I did this, I noticed the lower wave had almost the same shape as Mount Fuji, and yet it's closer to us, so it's bigger.
Oh, it does. Yeah, it does.
But I was thinking, maybe that shows disrespect to Mount Fuji. I mean, that it's almost the same shape, yet larger. Though,
well,
I don't know. What's Mitsuko think?
I don't think it's similar, because Mount Fuji is really, you don't have a bump. You see this waves, there's a bump in the middle.
Okay.
And it's totally, we don't perceive Mount Fuji like that. So, yeah. But a good try.
Yes.
All right, Al. We'll see you next week, everybody.
Okay.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
So much. Thanks, Rob.
All right.
Thank
you.
Bye.
Have a great week, everyone. That was a great day. All right.
Thank you.
Thank you.